Hey all, double 18 Seth Shadow here. So, with today's Market Watch, we're gonna do an early preview of the newest material that's gonna be coming in January. So, let's start with starter deck number 7, Celestial Drive. Given that Celestial being Gundam 00 is pretty much the highlight of the new releases that we're gonna be getting in January. So there are no listings available for this pre-sale, but it seems like there have actually been some pre-orders going through on TCG Player for this one, and they are massive. Even if you take a look at the low end of the sales, given the hype that's gone around all the starter decks and the lack of reprints that we've been seeing of them, this one has a low sale of $70 and a high of $86 right now when it comes to these pre-orders. And there are no pre-orders left. There's a lot of anticipation for this one as far as TCG Player goes. And the same can be said for the 8th deck, Flash of Radiance, which I believe this is supposed to be based on Hathaway. Basically the triple movie set, which honestly, we're only starting to get the second movie now. So that will probably play into some hype for this deck. But as far as this one goes, this one is not necessarily as hyped as the Gundam 00 base deck, but it's still up there. The high price in terms of its pre-order sales is currently $70, and the low is only a few cents lower. There are listings still available for this one, and they're all in that same range. Again, we're just going to have to see where it goes and honestly see just how popular it gets. And then, of course, we have Steel Requiem, which is going to be our third booster pack installation. No sales at all on this one for TCG Player, but the pre-order prices are, of course, pretty whack. We're looking at $290 for the boxes and $3,000 for a case. Nothing else when it comes to booster packs. But yeah, that's what we're looking at right now for the pre-order prices here. So I would shop around if you can get pre-orders lower than this. But if not, well, probably better just to wait for release. And if you can get them on the release events, they'll probably be a whole lot cheaper. Now for some promo discussions. And the first one I want to talk about is Close Combat. This one, so Close Combat has been reprinted as part of the 6th starter deck with Clan G-Quux, but that one's artwork is based off of G-Quux, and the originals is based off of Unicorn with Full Frontal. There's a promo version that you get from Regionals that features the Aegis from Gundam Seed, and that one has gotten a buyout recently. 4 listings back on the market, and we're looking at $47 right now for its lowest one, while over Cyber Weekend, we saw a number of them sell from a range of 25 all the way to about 35, and then a little bit higher more recently. As for its availability, all copies that are available are underneath $50, but in the high 40s. The Gundam Lifrith is also kind of short on listings again and is back up in value, where it did dip underneath $100 for its lower end listings. Now it's back above that, with its lowest listing being $130 and a market price that's currently at $99. And its availability ranges from $130 all the way to $500, and the consolidation, our first level is actually around $129. But even so, this is still a really expensive promo to grab. And over the course of November, we only saw it increase in value. And over the Cyber Weekend, we did have a few that were cheaper, around $90. But ultimately, they seem to be few and far between. Another one that has been picking back up over the Cyber Weekend is the promo for Kagaliula Atha. Currently, there are only 5 listings left on this one with a base price of about $103. This one's market price, well, I mean, this is the biggest of the promos, aside from the Lifrith. given when you take a look at what its market price used to be, it was up in the $200 range. And Lipworth was around that point as well, but I think Kigali was the more popular one simply based upon its artwork. As for what it's been selling for more recently, with Cyber Weekend, we saw a ton of copies move from the high 60s to low 70s. And because there were some gaps there, we had a few that sold in the $90 range. There was one that moved the other day for $75 as well, but now its availability is all over $100 again, with the highest listing being a lightly played, interestingly enough, is $138, and its current market price is $76. So Kigali's mostly going to move based upon its artwork, in my opinion. Overall, Kigali's not seeing that much more play, so it's really just favoritism for its artwork. It's unfortunately not a full art. If it was, I'm pretty sure this card would be way bigger than it is right now. The Overflowing Affection version that comes from one of our original new type challenges featuring Miorine from Witcher Mercury. This one has gone down in value overall, but let's see what the actual low listing is, because our low listing shown has a $5 shipping tag, but it's $7 on only one listing. 27 listings overall, and the market price has still been on a pretty significant decline. When it comes to what it's been selling for over Cyber Weekend, most of them have been moving around $10, $9, with a good number that have also been moving from 11 and 12, so it's a bit scattered. Overall, the card's value is actually still around 15 when you consider those high shipping tags. So the lowest listing is technically around $12 with that shipping tag rate, and the market price is around 11. We did have a few sales that actually got even cheaper, and that was before Cyber Weekend took place, where you were able to buy this card for about 4 to 5, though I don't know if that also included a higher shipping tag. Some of the resources with newer characters are starting to drop off further, but are still holding some significant value like Atherin is. So Atherin has 25 listings with $40 as its lowest, and the market price has been declining. It's now around $42, so that's still pretty high up there. But when you take a look, over October, we saw mostly mid $40 sales with a few sporadic $30 ones. And overall, when it comes to the the English versions, we're still seeing a lot of $40 sales, just progressively moving down overall. And when it comes to consolidation, we do have a decent amount of them at 40. So, Atherin has become readily more available, but at the same time, it's still one of the more expensive ones to grab. The LR Plus of the Psycho Gundam is currently at 33 listings with about $48.50 as its lowest listing. The market price on this one has significantly dropped off, where it was sitting in the 60s and just slowly making its way down over the course of November. When it comes to its sales, with Cyber Weekend, we've been seeing a lot more of them moving in the high 40s, and it's still up there even in terms of some of its lowest listings. $43.50 is the lowest listing, but it has a $5 shipping tag, and after that, it's basically a $48 card. So if you got rid of this a whole lot earlier, then you made out with a fair amount more. The LR Plus of the AL Strike Gundam is still not seeing too many sales, but it's still holding a pretty significant price point. The lowest price right now is $80 with 13 listings on the market, and the market price is just underneath that at about $79. We have had a decent amount of sales of this, or we did actually have a decent amount of sales of this over the Cyber Weekend. Most of them have been moving for $78 to $79, and they slowly moved up in terms of their pricing to $83 and even $84. It's just interesting that the chart doesn't show that this time. Bugs. In any case, when it comes to what it's available for, $81 is the lowest, 85 to 90 seems to be more of a point of consolidation. And after that, it becomes a $90+ card. If you were hoping to get the Common Plus of the Striker Pack anytime soon, well, I hope you actually bought it at some point now because it's almost gone. There's only one listing left at $50, and this is another one that sold quite a lot of copies over Cyber Weekend, and mostly all in the $35 to $40 range. And even after that, we had a few that moved in the 30s. Now, there's only one left at 50, and depending on how many more show up, we could potentially see this go back down. But the Striker Pack is a pretty decent card and doesn't look like it's going to have any reprints anytime soon. So if you were trying to bling it out, well, the earlier the better. It just keeps on going up. The LR++ of the G-Quox Omega Psycommu has 10 listings on the market and is currently at over $318. When it comes to what it's been selling for, we did have a few copies move for $300 to $325 over Cyber Weekend. And its current availability, given it's an LR++, it's hard to find consolidation on this one. But there are a decent amount of them at 330 and lower before they start going to almost 350 and higher. The Argama is moving back up too, though it still has a decent amount of listings, 40 of them altogether. But it had a market price as low as about $270, and now it's about $350. So, not even a dollar pickup from its low. But the Argama in general is a pretty solid base when you are dealing with decks that can do Breach. Over Cyber Weekend, we just had a huge amount of sales of this one, mostly from $3 to just over $4 overall. So it's pretty solidly one of the better rares that you can pick up from Dual Impact. And when you look on the first page, there isn't even any consolidation among the listings. They all only have one copy, and they're all moving for about $3 at the lowest. The EX resource for Sleda and Miorine has 11 listings now, but it's still a really expensive resource. We are looking at a market price of about $278, and this one didn't sell nearly as well over Cyber Weekend, only one sale really at $280. And otherwise, we're seeing some sales here and there that are closer to $260 and maybe a little bit lower than that. No consolidation here, and they're mostly... yeah, there's no real mostly about this. There are a few that are $260 and under, and after that $290 and then $300. So even with the increase in quantities, we're not looking at a massive decrease in price. And a rare plus to cover from Dual Impact, Garrod Ran and Tifa Adil. So 28 listings on this one with a base price of about $20 when you consider the shipping and handling. And for what it's been selling for, we've had a decent amount of sales of this one over Cyber Weekend at pretty much $20. There aren't any lower than that right now, but at the very least, most of the ones that are available are all in the $20 range, and the market price has significantly dropped off with a lot of $16 to $20 sales that have been occurring since the beginning of November. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.